Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Chicago here. We got 12:04 in the PM here. We're after the noon hour here, November the 6th, 2025. It's not as warm today as it was yesterday, but it's still not bad in the sunshine. At least we have sunshine here. We have around, well, let me check the other phone here. I think we're upper 50s. Let's see what the temperature says here. Hold on a second here. 57 degrees, not too bad. We'll probably toot around the southern part of River North here. Usually I don't go up this way during lunchtime because we usually go through River North way too much in the morning and evenings. But we went to the Bean this morning. We've already covered the Christmas tree, the giant official Christmas tree there. Hey, let's see, CK. Della, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in. Mary Therese, yeah, my Aunt Della, how you doing there? Hope you're doing good. And Wayne, Anita, yeah, we did TikTok this morning. That was a good experiment there. I hadn't been on TikTok except that one time for months, and it seemed to work really well with the super fans there. I never realized, I guess, with their new update, or maybe that was always the case. They had the super fans there, and only the super fans were able to comment, and that worked out really well. And I don't want anybody to subscribe. I didn't realize, and now it makes sense. And I'm glad everybody canceled their subscriptions on TikTok, because they raised the minimum to $9.99. I had mine at $2.99. That was the lowest price you could possibly do for subscriptions, and that's what I did. And then they raised it to $9.99, and I think that's excessive. And that's the minimum. I don't know, that ends up being over $100 a year. I don't expect anybody to pay that much to subscribe to my channel. So we'll just keep it to the super fans there. And I think you get to be a super fan if you just give like a gift, like a happy heart, or whatever the super fan gifts are. You talk to the other people. I still don't know how all this stuff works here, but hey, Anita, how you doing there? Lambie T, how you doing there? Yeah, Ferguson, Della, doing great, good, glad to hear it. Yeah, I talked to cousin Mike there last night, and we were trying to figure out what's going on for Thanksgiving, so I'll keep you posted there. I got to figure out what my dad wants to do, and you know how that is. Hey, Samuel Jones there, Sheridan, Mary Therese, yeah, Anita, Lambie T, son, how you doing there? Yeah, I'm talking to the chat here. I know it's freaking out. I'm freaking people out. Hey, I'm the guy. How you doing? Hey, how you doing? Thanks for saying hello. Yeah, I know. I get that a lot because I got that radio voice. I got a radio face. That's good. Thank you.
No, voice.
Good. No, that's good. No, thank you. Appreciate it. That's good. Hey, we'll enjoy the sunshine there. Hey, friends and neighbors, thanks for saying hello. Appreciate it there. That's great. So, yeah. I'm not used to that. People do double takes. I talk so loud. My dad's like, don't talk so loud when you're live streaming. I fell off the edge of the curb there. Hey, that guy's got a good spot there. Look at that. Here we got the light. So yesterday we saw Della. Yesterday we saw a Thanksgiving boat. It was the gravy boat. It was Joe Osco, which is a local grocery store like Kroger, and they had a promotion. They had the Thanksgiving turkey boat on one of the water taxis. I posted it to YouTube and TikTok, and they had a turkey on the front. They had a band, and they had the little mascot, the red furry mascot for Joe Osco. I didn't mean, I'm shameless promotion there. I didn't get paid by Joe Osco to do it. But here's the first lady there. The river looks really green today. They didn't dye it. And it looks really green here, so we'll cross the river again. I'm just going to head to the north side here, and yeah, today wouldn't be a bad day to go along the Riverwalk. We did it yesterday. But here, look at the sunshine here. Let's get the Wrigley and the Tribune here in the Intercontinental Hotel. This classic view heading across the DeSable, Michigan Avenue Bridge. How's everybody doing here? So yeah, we've always done the last 2 years. We've done lunchtime on YouTube. I want to continue that. I think I'm going to do YouTube at night. I'm exploring maybe doing TikTok in the morning and doing like we did this morning. Let me know if that's okay with everybody. I know some people don't have TikTok, and some people on TikTok won't watch YouTube, so I'm torn, and we'll figure out a path forward here. I'm still using YouTube as my primary live streaming vehicle here. I gotta have a presence on TikTok, otherwise we're just gonna float away into nothingness here. Here's the Tribune here, Ghirardelli. So Ghirardelli Chocolate, Fannie Mae's over there, Fannie Mae Chocolates, and let's see if we can get the sun to set behind these buildings. Yeah, they got this all fenced off. I think they're working on the stairs here or something. I don't know. But there's a new chocolate company that's currently working on their storefront up north of the water tower. It's supposed to be Hotel Chocolate. I think they're French. Ghirardelli comes from San Francisco, and of course Fannie Mae's from Chicago. Look at the wow, look at that. Yeah, no, I'm staying on YouTube, don't worry. I'm still committed to YouTube. We know what's happening with, we don't even know what's happening with TikTok. There was all this talk about a deal last Thursday, and it was a bunch of hype. I don't think anything was resolved. So they'll kick the can down the road. We'll be in constant state of limbo. And hey, look, we'll go in between. This is the annex and the Wrigley building here. And the Ghirardelli, we've gone in there. Let me show you this, because we've done this before. They got some really nice views of the river here. Here's Ghirardelli Chocolates. Hopefully they're fine with me walking through it. We've done this before. I'm not trying to promote this over Fannie Mae. I know people are like, promote the Chicago-based chocolate, but they got a nice space here. And they were up by the water tower. And then once that Hotel Chocolate opens up, we'll give you a tour of that, because we go by that area all the time. That's what I'm good for. Hey, Christopher's tuning in. Tea Live Tea Time. Yeah, Fannie Mae. So look at the views you get. So here, welcome to Chicago. We're in the Ghirardelli here. And look at the amazing views. You got the Jeannie Gang St. Regis. You got the Michigan Avenue Bridge here. And then you can head over to this side, and you can look out the other way. History of Ghirardelli Chocolate here. So you can look that way. Look how green the river looks. Look at the Jewelers Building. Leo Burnett there, the side of the Trump. Hey, let's go this way. It's kind of hard looking in the sun here. Yeah, look at those amazing views you get from the Ghirardelli here. Like that. Yeah, that's fine, Christopher. I know you were getting ready for work there. I'd say people drop in and out. You know how it is. People stay 5 minutes and then they're gone. It's a constant cycle. It's an amazing how, over a cycle of a live stream, tens of thousands of people can see your live stream, but only a few hundred people are in there at one time. And it's a constant cycle of people coming in and out of the live streams. And some people watch the whole thing. Some people will stay for hours, and other people, they're in and out and then they come back, They got a nice space here, Ghirardelli. Hey, Naya Papaya, how you doing there? So this was the Ghirardelli Chocolate here. It's in the Wrigley building. They got a Walgreens over here, 2-story Walgreens. Yeah, let's check out the fall foliage. There's some nice, beautiful trees here. We were here briefly yesterday when I caught that gravy train boat there. It's laggy in that spot. Yeah, okay, thanks for letting me know. If it lags, it lags. Every time we go inside one of these old buildings with the thick walls, it lags. So thanks for letting me know. We gave it a try. It's all beyond my control. Hey, there's the top of the Sears Tower there. Look at that view there. There's a really good view here, yeah. And welcome to Chicago here. We're just behind the Wrigley building. We're going to head through, and you can catch the water taxis over here. And here we go. Let's see here. Hey, you get your sushi. Yeah, let's walk along the bottom. See, we can see the river here. You can take the elevator down, ADA accessible. You can catch the water taxi right there. There's the 333 North Michigan. There's the London House. There's the Mather Tower there, that skinny one there. And we'll head under the Trump International Hotel and Tower, and we'll get nice views to the Jewelers Building, everything else there. Yeah, the lunch brunch, tea time, amazing colors. Yeah, the fall colors here. Look at that, look at these trees. Yeah, we're getting a peak fall color here. Very nice. How you doing? Yeah, across the way there. How you doing? So there's a significant police presence at the Trump Tower. And people always, they're like, go inside the Trump Tower. I'm like, they don't want live streamers in the Trump Tower, just like they don't want me in the merchandise mart and other things. Heavy corporate security for obvious reasons. I'm sure you can get away with it, but I'm not going to push my luck. And, hey, there we go. Look at that. There's the St. Regis. Look at the beautiful Art Deco 333 North Michigan. And there's the London House. Look at the Mather Tower. See how it says London House up there? And there's a roof deck. We've gone up there. We might wait till they set it up for Christmas. We'll go up to the roof deck up there above the columns. And here, this is underneath Trump Tower. So this is close. This is as close as I usually get to the Trump Tower, besides showing it from afar. And you know, you got beautiful river views here. You got the columns that go straight down to the river. There's the Michigan Avenue Bridge, just looking towards the lake. We're heading over towards Wabash. We're on the north side of the river, but you get these views. It's hard to see with the sun there. Yeah, Michael Rodriguez there. I got all the Michaels. Yeah, Della, we got the fall. Glad you're enjoying fall there, Anita. Yeah, you got to pretend. I know. I got to take the phone off the gimbal, act like I'm talking on my phone. Jay, City Walking Girl, she's really good at it. I would complain that the security at the Art Institute would always kick me out. She found ways to stream in there, no problem. She's very good at being incognito, and I need to take a lesson from her there. But here we'll just stay outside. I'm not going to get talked into going in there. It's people consider that a game. It's like a manipulation to try to steer the will of the live streamer into doing what you want, and I resist. I usually do the opposite of what people ask me to do because I'm just a weirdo. You can ask Della. Not that I'm not saying that my Aunt Della's some weirdo, but she knows I'm emotionally all over the place here. You get your private. You can get a Lamborghini. You can get a Lamborghini City Tour, $220 for an entire vehicle, 3 to 4 seats. This might be a good deal. You can ride in a Lamborghini for $220. They drive you up and down there. I did not know they did this. Of course, this is where the Trump Tower is. You can experience luxury here. Here we'll head across. This is Wabash, the Wabash Avenue Bridge here. And oh, look at there, let us cross it. Okay. Yeah, we saw some Christmas decorations. We mainly filmed Macy's. Macy's already has the window displays. I got reruns of that. We walked along the lakefront this morning. I just posted a rerun of the sunrise and playing with the dogs there. Dogs jumping in the waves. And then we saw those, I call them crop circles. I don't know. It was just some circles in the sand there. It looked funny. But here they got the statue here. This was the IBM Tower in Chicago. International Business Machines. Now it's the American Medical Association Plaza, AMA. Della, we walked by some of the hospitals this morning. We went by the Northwestern and Women's and Children's Hospital there in Streeterville. Here's the Marina Towers, the corncob buildings. Look at that giant corncob there. So they're working on the State Street Bridge. They got it partially open. You see the new asphalt here. So we can easily walk across the streets here. We'll head underneath the Marina Towers here. And we'll head over towards Harry Carey's. We'll show you Harry Carey's here. Here's State Street looking north. It's all under construction here. But here's one of the Marina Towers here, the parking garage. There's semicircular balconies. Yeah, let's head over by the river here. Hey, Alessia Cara, Hannah Bong. Upcoming shows at the House of Blues. Yeah, we'll go over to the House of Blues here. Smith and Walensky, the steakhouse, is right here. And then they got the legal seafoods, I think. Yeah, fall. Yeah. Derek, how you doing there? Margie R. Aisha. Wes is tuning in. Good. Yeah. What was that? Sherry, how you doing there? Yeah. Hey, we still got mums here. Here's a good view of, they're working on the State Street Bridge. See, they got that barge underneath there. Yeah, first bridge built in 1864. That's not this bridge. This one's built later, the State Street Bridge. There's the bridge house. Look at the maroon mums here. We got a whole line of mums. And then we're underneath the two Marina towers here. Chicago, Illinois, the Chicago River. There's the R.R. Donnelly, Leo Burnett building. This is advertising. These are all big corporate headquarters for advertisers here. Think of Del Griffith and planes, trains, and automobiles there, trying to get back to Chicago. Look at that. Oh yeah, you got a Mexican restaurant for breakfast. That's good. Get the huevos rancheros. There's the, see, there's an escalator that goes down. The valets, if you live here, you got to use the valets to park the car, and there's a conveyor belt system where they go up and down really quickly on these cables. It's kind of interesting. It's like a one-person elevator system. So there's an oyster and sushi bar here. We're over by Dearborn Street. We're underneath the Marina Towers. Yeah, we'll head over to the Harry Carey's. We'll show you the House of Blues. What time we got here? 12:21 Thursday. I'll probably work from home tomorrow, so maybe it's supposed to be a little warmer tomorrow. It's supposed to get up 64. That might be the last day we get before 60 degrees in a while. So we might go to the zoo. We might try to see if the bears are out. The Chicago Bears at the Lincoln Park Zoo. They're on loan from the Madison, Wisconsin Zoo. We already got footage of the grizzly bears, the two female grizzly bears. I think Lexi and Ash are their names. House of Blues here in Chicago. Yeah, there's supposed to be. Yeah, the temperature's going to drop over the weekend. I think there's a chance of flurries on Sunday or overnight there. So yeah, that's why I said we're going to enjoy the 64 degrees on Friday, because that might be the last time we hit 60 until March or April. Unless we get, sometimes you get one weird warm day, like in the beginning of December. You might get like 170s where everybody jogs in shorts by the lakefront, and then it crashes. Then you get like a blizzard. But here's Harry Carey's here. Bar Louie's not open anymore. It used to be down here. We'll go by Harry Carey's. Actually, if I cross the street, let's see if we can. Yeah, let's cross the street here. We can show it better. There it is. Harry Carey's, this Dutch revival architecture. Here's the two-way bike lane on Dearborn Street. There's Harry Carey's, that beautiful architecture of that building. It's snowing in Saskatchewan. Alvin, thanks for tuning in there. That's great. Yeah, so winter's begun. My Canadian friends there. See, we got the baseball done, and now it's up to winter here. Here's, hey, Dolores Pete's tuning in there. T-Lime Tea Time. CK. You went to the zoo yesterday. Oh, they had them inside. Yeah, I know. It's always hit and miss, and there's no guarantee, even if I go there tomorrow, that they'll be out. We were lucky to catch them. Ernesto Chicago Nuggies has footage of them as well, and I don't know if anybody else. So here's Kenzie Street. Kenzie Street, like you can look back and see, and look at the scale. So that's the Wrigley building, and when that was built in the early 1920s, that was a skyscraper. Look at how much larger the modern skyscrapers are. They just make that look like a little bitty tiny building. And here, let's head further west on Kenzie here. Kenzie Street's named after an early settler of Chicago. His name was Kenzie. He came from the American culture. He was the one that bought John Baptiste Point du Sable's house before he moved with his Potawatomi wife across the Mississippi. And that happened, I guess, around the 1801 or something around there, or maybe it was, I think it was before. I think he left around before or after the War of 1812, and of course that was a very tumultuous time because there was the British courted the British and the French courted rival tribes. Mainly it was British against the Americans, and the British used the grievances of the Potawatomi against the Americans to have the Potawatomi fight as proxies against the Americans. That's why they destroyed Fort Dearborn, and they didn't like the American presence here anyway at that time. And you know, John Baptiste Point de Sable and his Potawatomi wife, Olmette was here. Olmette had Potawatomi spouses as well, and he went up towards Wilmette. Well, that's why they call it Olmette. Wilmette, you know, he owned land up there. Olmette left the area because around the time of the 1830s, when the final treaties were finalized between the Potawatomi ceding the land in Illinois and Chicago and moving across the Mississippi, Olmette was forced to go with his wife to Council Bluffs because American settlers were poaching his timber, and he tried to bring him to trial in court, and they wouldn't give him standing in court because they didn't consider him a U.S. citizen. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that very interesting? And that was the problem. Indigenous people, Native people at that time, American Indians, they couldn't get a fair trial. Their testimony was not allowed in court, even if they could speak English. Isn't that amazing? So here, let's cross the street here. Here's the Boss Bar. So this is Clark Street. There's a bunch of restaurants here. Yeah, we got Bub City. We got Rick Bayless's Frontera here. Yeah, we'll head along here. Let's stay on this side here. We'll show the Boss Bar. It's for Mayor Daley the First. This is Hubbard Street. This is Hubbard Street, Hubbard Inn. They got this Joy District. There's a lot of bars in Cincinnati. Hey, they still got some Halloween kitchen karaoke here. You go to kitchen karaoke. Celeste, here's the skeleton. Look at the skeletons. They got the cowboy hat. But here's this Hub 116. It's a co-location work space there, and I'm amazed where I'm filming across the street. I'm not even filming, and people will cover their faces, and I'm not even filming them. I'm filming across the street. And you know, you're on camera all the time here. You know, I don't understand it, but I guess they think I'm ICE or something, maybe. And I understand people. You have your right to cover your face. I just feel bad because I'm purposely trying not to film them, and I know. I guess they don't want to show up in my reruns. I understand. Maybe they don't like me because they hear my voice. They're like, "There's that jerk." There's Hubbard and LaSalle. And that's why, you know, people will start to notice my voice, and then I become self-conscious, and then they'll be like, "Hey, I want to be in your live." I'm like, "Well, thanks for letting me know, because I can't tell if people want to be or not. So if you want to be in my live, let me know. And if you don't want to be in my live, let me know, and I won't film you, and I make sure I won't put you in the reruns there, because I don't want to expose anybody's identity or and that's the other thing. I think people know that the police can be watching my lives. ICE can be watching my lives. We are starting to move towards a surveillance state. Isn't it amazing in the United States of America, all these things we criticized other totalitarian, authoritarian regimes of, that we're fearing it in our democracy. We're fearing surveillance state. And we got mass people running around here causing havoc. I won't get into it. You can watch all the footage on your own there. Here's LaSalle Street. Here's LaSalle Street. And we're crossing here on Hubbard. Here, I'll show you here where Michael Jordan used to have his restaurant. There used to be Chicago had trolleys. They had cable cars, like similar to San Francisco. They didn't jack them up hills, but they would pull the trolleys with cables. There were cables running under some of these streets, and there was a power plant. Just like in San Francisco, there's still a working cable power plant house that provides the power for the cables that pull the cable cars up the steep San Francisco hills. And Chicago had electric trolleys, but they also had cable cars. And this building I'm about to show you, this red brick building, used to be the cable house for the Chicago trolleys. And Michael Jordan originally had his restaurant in this building, and then he subsequently moved it to the Intercontinental Hotel. And we'll show it here. We'll wait to the traffic because I think there's a plaque there. I want to make sure I get the correct historical context. I might be glossing over some items. There's the One Chicago Tower. This is Illinois Street in LaSalle, Chicago, Illinois. We'll cross here and we'll show you Michael Jordan's former restaurant here. So we're just waiting for the light to change here. Okay, good. Let's go. Yeah. Hey, you can take Lamborghini rides. I didn't know that. Near the Trump Tower, $200 and some. You can take a Lamborghini ride, and you can share for the whole car there. So here, Chicago landmark, LaSalle Street Cable Car Powerhouse, 1887, North Chicago Streetcar Railway Company. This building survives from the heyday of Chicago's cable car system, the largest in the United States during the late 19th century. Here we are at Chicago. We're in Chicago. We're at Illinois Street and LaSalle. This is River North here. Originally housing a pair of coreless engines. You ever heard of a coreless engine? The powerhouse serves as a critical mass transit link between the loop and the north side by powering cable cars throughout the LaSalle Street Tunnel. It went underneath the Chicago River, and it moved about 100,000 passengers a day during the 1890s and 1900s. Here we go, Chicago landmark. So this used to be Michael Jordan's restaurant, and now it's the Hawksmoor Steakhouse. Hawksmoor Steakhouse right here, 500 North LaSalle. Yeah, let's head around. Here's this nice view you get of the Michigan Avenue skyline up to the John Hancock, the One Chicago Tower. It's kind of River North. There's the Humane Society. We'll walk around the Humane Society. I don't know if, sometimes it's hard to film with the glare. It's easier for me to film here at night. I should start going by here at night. But hey, if you want to adopt a pet here, here's the Anti-Cruelty Society. Oh, look at the cat there sleeping there. The cat's yeah, there's some there. Let's see if we see any other animals out here. Rescue Love there, Anti-Cruelty. And there's the cat. Hey, how you doing there, kid? Cat, how you doing there? Hey, this one's just lounging around there. How you doing there, kitty? Anti-Cruelty site. And if it's hard to see it unless you get across the street here, I'll try to get out in the street a little bit. You see how it looks like a dog's face. You see how it looks like the nose and the ears. They purposely did the building to look like a dog's face here. Established 1899 here. We're in Chicago, Anti-Cruelty Society here. Hey, look at that. How you doing? Very nice. Yeah, she's petting the cat there. See, they got Chris Gustafson. He Maggie came from. He rescued her out of jail here too. There. Hey, how you doing there? See, the dog sensed me. The dog said, "Well, who's the live streamer there?" We'll head around here. So yeah, we're all the way up to Grand Avenue here. Here's the dogs. All these dogs need some love here. I know people always say that, Brian, why don't you get a dog? But I'm not home enough. Oh, how you doing there, buddy? Oh, yeah, see, somebody needs to rescue you there. How you doing? Oh, I feel bad for these. But at least, you know, the Anti-Cruelty Society is trying to find homes for these. I did have some footage on the Riverwalk where they had some dogs out there, and I somehow didn't do the rerun. I must have got distracted or forgot about it. I need to find that. Anti-Cruelty Society. Look at that. Rescues a dog, 1958. Rescuing the dog out of it, fell in the manhole. Oh man. there's the train. I know I'm missing all the comments here. I don't know if they have golden doodles. I bet they do. Yeah, Maddie there. Lambie T knows Maddie. Well, Chris has been live streaming with Maddie there. You gotta go up to the Park District there in Lake County there. Art Attack, how you doing there? Yeah, the cordless engine is a steam engine by GA's Cordless that produce higher efficiency load responsiveness. Hey, thanks for the good information there, CK. Hello, Art Attack there. Let's see, Sheridan, Lambie T. Yeah, it's very complicated. You know, I see all the dogs waiting for their owners to come home, and I have to travel for work. I know I work with architects and engineers. Sometimes they got to put their pets in the doggy boarding, you know, if they don't have someone to watch them. I don't have a significant other, so, you know, it's just me, you know, and why would I, have a dog, they're waiting all day long there. Or cats can take care of themselves much better, but I don't know. Maybe a cat is more my style. Here's yeah, there's the train round the bend there. We'll head right down that way. Oh, you just picked up a female beagle mixed bubbly. That's great, Derek. Thanks. That's good. Yeah, WBBN. I saw that here. Yeah, I was a radio announcer in a different life here, but no one listens to the radio. Now TikTok and YouTube's are the new radio here. Here, Illinois Street here. So here we'll cross the street so we won't have to be filming into the sun. But here, this is Wells Street. This is Wells Street. Look at the housing here. Thanks for tuning in here. There, Illinois. And Wells Street here. Yeah, look at these storefronts. There's Lou Malnati's Chicago style pizza. Just joined. We're in River North. We're over by Merchandise Mart. Let's see. 12:35. Yeah, let's walk. We'll walk in front of the Merchandise Mart, and we'll go over the Franklin Street Bridge, which is a nice bridge. Maybe we'll see some trains going by. There, Lou Malnati's. See, near the Merchandise Mart, they got all these interior design firms and furniture vendors. Hey, get your couch there. Yeah, look at that. Recline in that chair. Hey, let's get across the street here. We'll show you the sculpture. So, Hubbard Street, Hubbard's and Wells. The L train goes through here. Elevated CTA train. So this is Kellogg's. Main Kellogg's is up in Minneapolis, right? Look at the sculpture. So let's see, which way do we want to go? Yeah, let's go this way. We'll head behind here. The old cat is very needy. Yeah, there you go. See, positive, negatives, everything. I'm not stalking your former jobs there. It's just, yeah, eventually I walk so many places. Eventually I'll walk by stuff you recognize here. P.F. Chang's. There's Studio 41. We're underneath the elevated tracks. Here's a boxing and fitness. Yeah, there's several boxing clubs all throughout the city here. River North Boxing and Fitness there. Train like the champ. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Great Muhammad Ali. Hey, that rhymes. Hubbard 221. Studio 41. Home Design Showroom. Look at the bend of the elevated tracks here. Franklin Street. And is this Kinsey? This is Hubbard. We're still on Hubbard. Old Mother Hubbard's. Hey, look at that bathtub. Look at all those faucets. Parent and row. So there's the Merchandise Mart. Here's some houses. Hey, how you doing? Hey, thanks for saying hello. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I was on TikTok this morning, but I'm on YouTube now, so I'm switching back and forth. So you're just going to River North? What do you guys do?
That's our office.
Oh, you work here? Great. Oh, that's great. What a nice area. Yeah, well, no, I don't know. I know about the Merchandise Mart. Which building is it? This building?
This one.
Oh, okay. I'm not for sure, but I think, are you like an interior design or a furniture firm? Or?
No, we work at Vivo.
Vivo. Okay, good. Joe and the Juice. Hey, well, thanks for saying hello. Have a good day.
Okay.
That's great. I'll let you be. Thanks for saying hello there. That's great. See, the people there. Yeah, I don't know much about this building here, but we'll look into it. And there's the people that work right here. Very nice. So, yeah, Scott. Yeah, that's one of the good perks of my loud voice. People can recognize it and say hello, and I feel more connected to my Chicago-based community here. People that work downtown and say hello, and yeah, beautiful people here. Let's we'll head over to Union Square. And we'll head over to Orleans Street. Orleans becomes Franklin. And there's some trees over here. Maybe we'll get some full foliage here. Zuby, how you doing there? Yeah, we got lots of fans. Wavy gravy there, Mr. Wavy. Vivo, yeah, Vivo. Okay, that's where they work. News World India. Vivo, thanks. Yeah, what does Vivo do? I don't know what. I need to research that company there. There's Kohler. See, there's Kohler. There's all these brands associated with the merchandise mart. And here, Orleans Street here. Yeah, let's head across here. So we could just head back to Riverwalk. That'll be a good way to round this out. Thanks for staying on, everybody. We're just bouncing around River North here on Thursday. I'll probably work from home tomorrow, and then we can go to the zoo. We can see if the new grizzly bears are out. And let's see. If I walk this way, yeah, we can go down and head around the Confluence there. We'll use the new Riverfront Esplanade. It's Pizza Lisa tuning in that they finally opened up after all these years. We'll use it. Yeah, see the East Bank Club. Yeah, we'll do the zoo tomorrow, so we'll see some other animals. It should be in the 60s tomorrow, so that I'm looking forward to that. And then it's going to get cold over the weekend. So, hey, White Sox, World Champions 05. I remember that. So we'll head down there. We're going to go down there. We'll go down these stairs. See the Stack City. If you go up that way, it's the Bear. There's the Mr. Beef's up that way, next to the Green Door Tavern and the Drifter, that old speakeasy. But this is the stairwell that people use as a restroom. You got to watch where you step. You're like, is that a dog turd or a human turd? I'm sorry to bring everybody down there, but hey, it's dangerous walking in the city. Hey, there's some nice fall color. This is the Kinsey Street Bridge, so this is where the Dave Matthews bus incident happened. People bring that up all the time when we cross these bridges. You can look it up. In 2004, there was a major scandal there with the Dave Matthews bus driver. Poor Dave Matthews band wasn't allowed to play in Chicago for years, but now they let him back. Yeah, Chicago, Nestor, this is Chicago. Here's the merchandise mart. You see that big giant building? That's the merchandise mart. We're gonna head around the front of it. We got 1241. So all I'm gonna do is we'll hit the North Branch Chicago River, and then we'll cross the river, and then we'll head back along the riverfront. Riverwalk, excuse me. Here's the East Bank Club. This is Kingsbury. That goes up to, you can get to the Montgomery Wards and the casino site. Yeah, let's cross the street here. She's crossing, so we're crossing. There's the Kinsey Street Bridge, the Metro's going across. There's the Holiday Inn up there. I'm sure nobody's coming in the bike lane. But yeah, they call this River North. Beautiful fall colors here. Yeah, you don't have to smell it. That's the best part. You're very lucky you don't have to smell this city. But here, look, there's the Harry Weiss housing. Here's the Kinsey Street Bridge, and here's the bridge in the upright position here. It used to be a railroad bridge. That used to be cold storage. And then we get this nice view to those new buildings they built near the Confluence. See, there's a Holiday Inn up there, and then there's offices. The Sun-Times used to have newspaper offices here, but I don't know if they still do. But look at that concrete. That's the counterweight to the bridge. Yeah, the trees are nice. State and Hubbard. Yeah, it was all industrial. Yeah, this used to be an industrial working factory district. Several of the industries had 3 shifts. That's why bars like Rossi's would open at 7 a.m. because people were getting out of work and they needed a drink. And here's Leela. Yeah, here's Leela. Look at that. Here's the architectural cruise boat heading down the North Branch. I saw a water taxi went up the North Branch, so I guess maybe the water taxis are heading up to Goose Island again. Here's the, that's a cold storage building. They used to store ice in the winter, and then they converted it to housing, amazingly. And very thick walls. And hey, there's the Wendella there. They put the chicken in the car, and the car won't go. That's good. Yeah. Very nice. So, hey, heading by the Riverwalk here. Look at that. Yeah. So here we'll go by Wolf Point here, the Salesforce Tower, and Confluence. Looks like they got a barge here. They're working on the Lake Street Bridge, and that's where the pink and green lines go across. You taking that vote? That's good. Laser ride, yeah. Yeah, nice architecture. That's what we're known for. It's like that British couple. Everybody told them not to go to Chicago. They did it anyway, and they're like, man, it's the cleanest, most beautiful city. And they didn't feel unsafe. And I'm glad they had a good time. That doesn't mean bad things don't happen. It's just, you know, you got to take the risk. Hey, look at this. Okay, here's the Evening Star rounding the bend here. Here's the confluence of the North and South Branch of Chicago River. And we got November the 6th, 2025 here. The architectural tour boats are still running. They've been running them later and later. They run them all the way up to Christmas. And I even seen them in January. They never used to run the architectural cruise boats in January. They ran them a few times last year. We had such a mild start to the winter. Depends on what the weather's like. But they'll eventually get the hot tub boats out. That's why they only do the hot tub boats in the winter, because it would be too congested. They would always be in the way. London. Yeah, there you go. CK. Thanks for the Christopher, yeah. Always somewhere to walk, yeah, always somewhere to walk. That's why I like the big bad city here. It's positive, negatives. Della's walked, my Aunt Della walked all over. We went all over the city. And we went all over the dunes. Indiana Dunes there. So there's the South Branch. Look at this. This is like 900 and some feet tall. So that one's housing. That one actually has balconies and stuff. This other one's housing, but doesn't have as many balconies. So yeah, they got a barge there they're working on. And there's that tuning fork building. Even the British couple, they're like, how does that building stand up? It looks like it's going to top over. And look at this amazing view, the classic view you get looking straight west on the main channel, the Chicago River here, Franklin Street Bridge. They didn't do a bridge lift yesterday, but hey, there's the 333 Wacker building, the Nuveen Investments. There's the Sears Tower. Look at that view. Willis Tower, whatever you want to call it there. There it is, the tallest building in Chicago. And we walked around it. Hey, here's the green line. The green line's heading across the Lake Street Bridge here. Let's get that. Yeah, they go down deep into the ground, 100 feet down to hit bedrock there. Yeah, the caissons, the foundations there. There's shootings in the city all the time. Okay, so I know people bring up crime in the city all the time, and I get tired of talking about it, and people that tune in get tired of hearing me talk about it because people always ask questions about it. But it seems to be what the city's most known for is its crime. And yes, if you live here every weekend, especially in the summertime, there'll be crazy, shocking crime, murders, weird things happen. But you go to Los Angeles, New York, you'll see the exact same thing. You can go to Cincinnati, you can go to Memphis, St. Louis, New Orleans, you know, and it just, we have a larger population, so, and it's, you know, there's be robbery, smash and grabs, you know, but believe me, talk to people that have lived in, read Chuck De Los Santos' book, Once Upon a Time in a Neighborhood. He talks about growing up in the western part of Lincoln Park. This is Lincoln Park in the 70s and 80s. It was much different. He had to fight on his way to school. There were gangs on every corner. There was the folks and the peoples. Cabrini Green was still growing. Stateway Gardens, Robert Taylor, Henry Horner Homes. The city was the crime was actually worse. And the reason people, I think the major difference is there wasn't social media then. People read about it in the newspaper, the Herald of News, but there wasn't a viral video for every crime. Now we have a viral video for every crime incident, including what ICE is going on, so it's greater in our consciousness. The statistics, even though crime's intolerable now, it's still not as bad as it used to be. And people didn't care about it as much back then because it only impacted certain areas of the city. And people could, just like the war on drugs, they could turn a blind eye to it because it wasn't affecting them in their affluent suburbs. Now it is. See, that's the difference. And, you know, I understand, you know. And even in the age of Trump, we still have crime. And people still talk about it. And they use it as a I don't know, the way to feel better about themselves. You can look down upon Chicago. You know, whatever you need to do to feel better about yourself, do it. Here's, I want to cross this street here. Wait till this taxi goes here. Here's the confluence of the North and South Branch Chicago River. We're running across the street here. And I wouldn't do that here. I'm just trying to expedite myself getting back to work here. We're on the Riverfront Esplanade here on the Merchandise Mart. There's the Franklin Street Bridge. We'll get another nice view to the Sears Tower. Look at the Merchandise Mart, largest building in the world when it was built in the 1930s, 1929, 1930. And all these giant heads are the business leaders that pulled their resources to build it. And they got some putting greens and stuff here. They had some more furniture. You see Aaron Montgomery Ward. There he is. Edward Filene. I guess Filene's basement. Is that what that is? Yeah. George Huntington Hartford. You know these names? You know John Wanamaker. I don't know. And there it is. Merchandise Mart. Here, Marshall Field. There he is. There's Marshall Field. Look at that plane. Here, Frank Winfield Woolworth. Woolworths. Remember Woolworths, the Dime and Dime store there? Hey, there's the sky view. Large barge there. Julius Rosenwald. General Robert E. Wood here. There's the general. So here's yeah, I know women experience the city differently. Children experience it. That's why the city were very angry that ICE is slamming teachers at daycare centers to the ground. Her child went to the daycare. The kids are crying. Is there not a more humane way to do this? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying for the United States not to enforce their laws. Don't parse my words. Is there not a more humane way to do it instead of terrorizing whole communities with mass people, fellow Americans, not reading people their Miranda rights, whether they're U.S. citizens or not? And I heard a 68-year-old U.S. citizen that was driving. This was in New York City somewhere, and he was trying to practice for the marathon, and he was trying to get home. He was near his home, and ICE was doing an operation near his home. He stopped behind ICE, and they told him to get out of his car. He goes, "I'm a U.S. citizen." They dragged him out of his car, broke his ribs, kneeled on him as he had broken ribs. A 60-year-old U.S. citizen did not read his Miranda rights. He's going to sue the shit out of ICE, and he's going to win, and all the U.S. taxpayers are going to pay for it. Why are we standing for this? The reason I'm yelling, I'm yelling over the train. I'm not trying to yell at the good audience here. I know you don't need to hear me talk about this, but you know, we'll try to keep it to a minimum here. And here we'll head around here. We'll go down to the Chicago Riverwalk. We'll go back to talking about the birds and the trees and the river and act like it's just mourning in America. Yeah, I'm mourning for our lost ideals of America. The Statue of Liberty is weeping right now, and nobody cares. We're rolling up the red carpet, turning America into a country club. Here's the Merchandise Mart. This is just my opinion. You can have a different opinion, different than mine. I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in here. So here, we'll head along the Riverwalk here. We got 1253. We'll head straight back to the Vietnam War Memorial there, and we'll just see if any boats come by here. But hey, thanks for tuning in here. Welcome to Chicago. And we'll head along the Riverwalk here. I'm just amazed the national media is not covering this more. I went to the front page of the New York Times yesterday. I did not find a news story about the plane crash in Louisville. It was way at the bottom. It was like the third or fourth page. It didn't even make the front page. 11 people died, a major plane crash in Louisville, and it didn't even, because they were talking about the Supreme Court, and they were talking about, you know, with the tariffs, and they were talking about the shutdown. And all the news articles were about that, and you know, all this other stuff, and there was hardly any mention of ICE, even though the Chicago local judges, they found horrible conditions in the Broadview site, and they noticed in the middle of the night they removed some people there because they were overcrowding people there, and that's why they wouldn't allow Dick Durbin and other elected officials to, which is their purview within their jurisdiction, do an inspection. What are they afraid of? We know what they're afraid of. And that's here I am talking about it still here. What else we got here? So hey, we got November the 6th here. We filmed the holiday displays at Macy's. They're setting up the Christmas tree. There's a pumpkin floating in the river there. They set up the giant 68-foot Christmas tree there, the Norwegian spruce in Million Park. We got footage of it. We went by this morning and yesterday. We saw the gravy boat yesterday, the Thanksgiving boat. We got Thanksgiving coming up, so hey, we'll focus on that. There's the pigeon there. Look at the pigeon flew down there. There's where some stormwater drainage comes out. No swimming or diving. Hey, Chicago Riverwalk, Clark Street. There's the Britannica building there. So here, we'll keep going here. Billy Goats, yeah. Sometimes we go by Billy Goats, which is over there. Of course, there's other branch. There's chains of it over by the United Center, and there's some up by Wrigleyville. Hey, the pigeons are coming to get us. Here comes the pigeons. Ah! Don't feed the pigeons. Yeah, American Airlines DC-10. I remember that in '79. Well, I don't remember. I was a baby when that happened, but I remember the rerun footage. They talk about that. Yeah, the engine fell off, and that building was that plane was just inspected. It was an older cargo plane, but they just inspected it, and that's everybody's worst nightmare. Thankfully, it wasn't a fully loaded passenger plane, but it had all that fuel. And did you see the people running from the warehouses there? Running for their lives because it was a fireball. People died where it landed. It landed in an industrial area, and all the crew members perished. It was like 3 crew members, but there was people on the ground. It was, yeah, Louisville. Our heart goes out to you and everybody else there. I guess because of the shutdown, they're curtailing flights by 10%, so that's going to impact. Hopefully people are like, is the shutdown going to be over by Thanksgiving? Is it going to impact Thanksgiving Tower? How? I'm amazed we're actually talking about it. A lot of people think there's going to be some resolution this weekend, but I don't know why. Why can't they do it today? Why they got to wait till this weekend? You know, we're past the election. You know, I don't know what's the outstanding items here. I guess it's healthcare costs. There, Tiny Tap, and we'll head by the Marina Towers here. So this is called Chicago. This is called the Chicago Riverwalk. If you just joined, we're near the Loop of Chicago here. We're in between Dearborn and Clark Streets, north of Wacker Drive, Chicago, Illinois, United States of America, planet Earth. And there's the House of Blues. We went by it. I'm going to head back to work here. We'll be back on YouTube. I'll do YouTube tonight. Don't worry. I'm sticking with YouTube. I just did the experiment this morning. We might do a few TikToks, but I'm still figuring out if I'm going to do TikTok in the morning and YouTube in the lunchtime and evening, or you know, if we're going to still do YouTube in the morning. So I'll send messages to people. That's what I did this morning. I sent messages both to YouTube and TikTok, letting people know I was going to be on TikTok this morning. I know not everybody on YouTube has TikTok, but I still daily, at least weekdays, several times a day, I go live on YouTube. So I've been getting way too much content on YouTube. I got to balance it out. And we got audience on both platforms here. There, Legal Seafoods, Marina Towers there, Corn Cap Buildings. Chicago, Illinois, Chicago Riverwalk. Where you at? Where you at? Thanks for tuning in. People tune in from all over the world here. It's great. Hey, you got public restrooms. Rosé all day, City Winery. See, you can pull your boat right into the bottom there. That's where they're going to do the hot tub boats. We'll see, pretty soon we'll see a hot tub boat out here. Yeah, there's sometimes people tune in from Mars. Sometimes Elon Musk tunes in from Mars. Sometimes people tune in from the moon or different galaxy. You never know. We're intergalactic planetary. Hey, piece of Lisa there, Jesse. Yeah, we know people that live in here. I 20 years ago, I briefly dated a really nice woman that lived in there, and it was nice. Beautiful views. She would park her car, did valet car. And you would go up in there. You can get on the roof. You can get on the roof of these things. So here's Chicago River. It looks less green now. Now it looks more turquoise. So here's State Street. State Street's under construction. So we saw it from above. Now we're seeing underneath. We got 1 o'clock on the dot. So I'm going to wrap this up really quickly. We'll end it at the Vietnam War Memorial here. We'll do the shout out to the military. Hopefully the military is getting paid. I guess the Mellon Bank error there donated $130 billion. No, million. $130 million for 1 week. I don't know if hopefully the military is getting paid. I know the TSA is not getting paid. I know some other government agencies are not getting paid, and it's very, everybody wants a resolution to this thing. Here, we'll head through here. We'll go to the Vietnam War Memorial here, and we'll show you the Wrigley Building, Trump Tower. There's the view of John Hancock. So we'll be on after 5 o'clock tonight. Thanks everybody tuning in here. If you missed any part of this, the good thing about YouTube is you can rewind. You can go back to the beginning. You might have to drag the slider along the bottom. Sometimes it gets stuck in a loop at the end. It looks like I'm still live when I'm not. It has to process. It has to process all this gigabytes of data here. Oh, they got the fountain turned off. So sadly, I'm reporting the Vietnam War fountain's off for the season. Winterized it. Flags are half-staff for Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney passed away earlier this week, so our condolences to the Dick Cheney family there, and our condolences to the family of Shauna, our friend and part of the mod team there in Chicago. Here's the Vietnam War Memorials here. So hey, say goodbye to the pigeons here. Thanks to everybody that serves in the military, has family members serve, people that paid the ultimate sacrifice, people on the names on this wall for the Vietnam War from Chicago. We thank you. Chicago will never forget. And have a good rest of your Thursday. We'll see you tonight after 5. Yeah, this is a river. This is the Chicago River. Yeah, thank you for your support. Yeah, Subi. Yeah, not flying. Yeah, take the Amtrak. Okay, we'll talk to you later. Have a good night, or have a good day. We'll see you after 5. See you, Wayne. Yeah, one golden Nubian. See you later. Thanks a lot. Ferguson, Christy. Thanks a lot. All right.